Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be masculine and feminine energy. I've got actually 3 emails I'm going to go through. And before we get into it, I got a quote I wrote that I'd like to share with you. And it says, in any successful intimate relationship, there must be a healthy balance between masculine and feminine energy. When this balance is lacking, sexual polarity is reduced to the point that two people tend to act more like friends who are roommates and less like lovers who crave one another. The more masculine person must lead the relationship, be purpose-driven, make the plans, guide the direction, make the decisions, etc., whereas the more feminine person must be more playful, open, girly, follow more, and receive the strength and love of the masculine person. So that first email actually is from a woman who is a lesbian, which I love lesbians. I think they're cool. I've got a couple friends that are actually lesbians. And what's interesting is even in relationships between gay and lesbian people, is that there's always one of them that tends to be more masculine and the other one that tends to be more feminine in the relationship. So she says, "Hi Corey, my partner and I split up 6 months ago, and we had a really wonderful relationship, and we got together after being friends for about 6 months. She was never really sure, but I was. Then one day she came to me and said, I really like you and want to try this. We did, and right away it went very well. We were both very affectionate and got along very well. In March, we went away to Europe to travel for 5 weeks, and 3 months into it, or 3 months into our relationship, she says. And on our trip, she started to get confused. She was going through lots of hormonal stuff, pretty heavy ups and downs. Fast forward a few months, and we were trying to be friends, but I found it hard and felt as though she was pulling my chain a little." So it sounds like to the woman who wrote this to me, you're the one that's a little more in your masculine, and your partner was the one that was more feminine. And obviously the way she's acting is she's acting probably in response to your behavior. You're probably acting unsure of yourself, probably lacking confidence at times, and just being unsure of whether or not you really deserve her. And obviously she could sense that kind of a weakness, which would cause her to back away and get flaky, just like women do in normal relationships when the guy doesn't act strong and masculine. She says, leading me on somehow. When we spent time together, there was always a closeness of touching somehow, like a leg or even a body resting against me when we were beside each other. In July, I told her we couldn't be just friends. I said, I love you, and if things change for you one day, my door is open. That's the right response. That's what masculine energy does. If this woman that you're involved with is unwilling to give you what it is that you want or treat you the way you want to be treated, obviously in this case, she's putting you in friend zone, and initially you went along with it, just like a lot of straight guys tend to do. And after a while, you realize this is fucking bullshit. This ain't a lot of fun. I'm out of here, but let me know if you change your mind. He says she was quite upset about this, but said it was up to me. Several weeks goes by with little contact, although she would send the odd text asking me some silly question. Something she could have really found out from someone else. Anyway, last week she texted me about coming to her birthday party. I didn't answer right away, and then she texted me again. It's amazing how that happens. Obviously, this feminine former girlfriend of yours is acting just like a normal straight woman would. She said she seemed bent on seeing if I was coming or not, and I told her I wasn't sure and that I wanted to talk. She freaked out and couldn't figure out why I wanted to talk. She thought I wanted to talk about us, which was not the case. She later apologized for assuming that, and she expressed again that she really wanted me there. On Saturday, we Skyped for a few moments, and I told her I still wasn't really sure about our party, but I'd let her know. I also let her know again that my feelings have not changed for her. Well, it's interesting because you're acting unsure of yourself, and in essence, you're acting like a woman, even though you are a woman, but you're more of a woman who's naturally in her masculine essence, obviously why you tend to like women. But you being unsure of yourself, instead of acting like the leader of the relationship, you're instead of being sure, you're being unsure, and that's why you get the flaky behavior. So the proper response to her would have been, when she reached out to you, was, hey, I'd love to see you, and you know how I feel about you, but I don't want to come to your party if you still see me as just a friend. So if you want me to come, why don't we get together and have dinner sometime this week? When are you free to meet up? And then invite her over, have dinner together. She says, I don't know that she doesn't want things to be too complicated. Maybe I did make them a little in the past, though. But I know now what to avoid, talking about things to death. So later that night, she sent me a text that said, hey, you know that sweater you left here? Well, a while back, I used it for a project. Would you like to have it back? When we were together, I brought a sweater over to her that had been devoured in a few months. I don't know what that means. Maybe she just got worn out because she wore it a lot. He says, she said she would fix it, and I forgot about it, and a couple of months later, we split. Anyway, I said, yeah, sure, send me a pic sometime. A couple of minutes later, she sends a pic of the job she did, and she's wearing this sweater. Why was she wearing it, I asked myself. Because it's your sweater, and that's why she sent you the pic with your sweater, because she's thinking about you. It's amazing, even in a lesbian relationship, when you act in your masculine, when you walk away, when the other person is unwilling to treat you the way you want to be treated, and she's the feminine one, she's throwing in the towel and starting to come back. It's just amazing when you understand masculine and feminine energy. You just really understand the dynamic of how human relationships work. She says, in that moment, I couldn't help but think she was missing me. I would say she definitely was missing you based on what you shared. Why would she do this? Would she be playing me? Well, if you're confident about yourself and your ability to attract the kind of woman you want, you'd be saying to yourself, of course she fucking wants me. Of course she wants to see me. Make a date happen. If a woman reaches out to you, you should assume it's because she wants to see you, even though she's not going to come right out and say that. That's probably why she wants you to come to the birthday party, because now she's had a period of time where she hasn't talked to you and she doesn't know what you're doing. And she's obviously wondering about things because she realized that you left the picture when she stopped interacting with you in a way that was acceptable to you, which is what masculine energy does. She says she was obviously wearing the sweater before she even texted me, and why all of a sudden now is she telling me about this? I'd say probably because she wants you back. She's thinking about having you back, but you can't focus on a relationship. You just focus on hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, giving her the freedom to kind of come and go as she pleases. It's amazing the effect that has on feminine energy when you do that. It makes feminine energy submissive and desiring to receive you, hence the reason why she's reaching out to you. She says, I also don't think she did it a while about not that it really matters. I reached out on Monday to see if she wanted to get together. She said yes, so we are getting together on Friday night at her house for dinner and maybe a walk with her dog. I am not sure at all what she is thinking. That is the wrong mindset to have. You should be thinking, she wants to see me. Hang out, have fun, hook up. That's what you need to focus on. You need to be the man, even though obviously you're a woman physically, you need to be the man in the relationship, because that's what she fell for originally when you said what you wanted and you just had the attitude of, okay, well, let me know if you change your mind, and you kind of walked away and she came right back to you. So when you act unsure of yourself and your ability to have her and attract her and have her find you attractive, that's why she acts flaky and unsure of herself, because you're not acting like the man in the relationship. And that's what you need to do. You need to be the leader and lead it. Same advice I give to guys all the time. She says, as far as I know, she just wants to be friends, but that is not what I want. And she knows that. And that's why you've got to stick. That's your mission. That's your purpose. That's what you stated you want. You got to say what you mean, and you got to mean what you say. And you can't be like a bowl of Jell-O. You've got to stick to it. She says, given what I have told you, do you think she could be stringing me along? See, this tells me that you have a limiting belief that says, I don't deserve her. And obviously, because a lot of times I do coach gay and lesbian women, and men, obviously for that matter, in these types of issues. But, it's all a matter of masculine and feminine energy and acting appropriate to what's your natural essence. And what's going on here is you're afraid to step into your natural essence, and it's understandable because obviously physically you're a female, but society has obviously conditioned you and probably made you feel ashamed of yourself and all these things, and that's understandable. So the only way that she says, is she trying to sway me towards a friendship? Well, as long as you're hanging out, having fun, and hooking up, and making it clear to you that you're not interested in just being friends, and if she tries to take it to friend zone, that's where you got to stand up and say, I told you that I'm not down with that. I want you, and if you don't feel the same way, then I need to move on in my life so I can find somebody who does feel the same way. But if you change your mind, give me a call because I'd love to see you. But at this point, you've already made the date, so you should proceed as if it's a date. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. And you should presuppose, of course she wants me, because I'm fucking hot like that. She says, I know she really values me and cares for me, and deep down inside, I feel like there is something there. Even from her, I feel this. But she hasn't come running back either. Well, remember, women fall in love slowly over time. Feminine energy falls in love slowly over time. And she's simply reacting. When you act weak, she becomes unsure and she backs off. But when you act strong and sure of yourself, she lets you have your way with her. I've got a woman that I know, and she's fucking beautiful. But she likes women. She's also likes men, but she's in a lesbian relationship. And the guy that she happens to be dating, she just started dating this woman a few months ago. And this woman kind of looks like a dude. She got short hair, kind of dresses like a guy dresses, but at the end of the day, she's a woman. And she's crazy about this woman guy, if you will. And, you know, but like I said, as a man, obviously, I think she's hot. I mean, she's a model, and she's just incredible banging body. But it's just amazing, you know, she's attracted to a woman who's a very masculine woman. And if you looked at her, because she doesn't wear makeup or anything, because her head's kind of shaved like a guy, you know, tends to wear the hair, but you know, it's cool. It's just interesting. It's just men and women, they respond, masculine energy responds to what it responds to, and that's why you got to have the balance in the sexual polarity. So let's get in the next email. So anyways, you know, before we go on, it's just hang out, have fun, and hook up. That's what you need to focus on. You need to act with confidence, and when the mood is right, when she's flipping her hair around, grab her, kiss her, make out, lead it to a successful conclusion in the bedroom. So this guy says, hey coach, I dated my ex for about 2 years, and she got pregnant 8 months into it, and then we had our baby boy. She left me 3 months ago because she says she was no longer in love. She was married to a man in the Navy before us getting together, and once she moved out this past July, she started seeing him again. They are no longer working out, and we hung out a few times, and she said she wanted to work things out, but then a few days later, she would change her mind and just want to be single. This happened 4 weekends in a row. Now she's seeing someone completely new. I have been on a few dates with some hot chicks, and it's all good, but I just don't love them like I do my ex. That's why you got to keep dating. It's a numbers game. You got to get right back on that horse and keep looking for that next great love of your life. Because when you stay focused on what you lost, you're not acting masculine. You're not acting strong, because masculine energy, when it's not valued, it takes off and lets feminine energy run after it. I mean, when you watch movies from 30, 40, 50 years ago, that's what you see in those movies. The women are always chasing after the guys, trying to get them to settle down and get married. But what you see, obviously, today is you got all this feminized bullshit where the men basically act like women and the women tend to act like men. And people wonder why relationships are so screwed up in our society. He says, I want her and my family back. Well, obviously it takes two to make a relationship work. She just says there's no spark. 2 days ago, I told her that I didn't want to be friends. I love her and cherish her, but I can't do it anymore. See, that's the problem. You've been going along with being friends only, and even though you said that's not what you want, your actions communicate that you're totally acceptable with this. This is why your girlfriend is vacillating back and forth between being with you, then being unsure, going back to an ex-boyfriend she was dating before you, and then dating some other guy. It's because you're not standing up for yourself and what you want. And when she doesn't treat you, got to state your purpose, which is what you want from her. And if she's unwilling to give that, or she becomes flaky, You just got to walk away and say, hey, give me a call if you change your mind, because this doesn't work for me. He says, I told her to call me if she changes her mind, and off I went. She tries to contact me every day, and usually something irrelevant about our son. I told her again last night to please respect my wishes. Good, you're standing up for yourself. That's what you need to do. She said I was pissing her off and that she just wanted to tell me she was going to start potty training our boy. And then that's when you just say, honey, I love you and I want you, but you only want to be friends, and I don't want to do that. And, I'm getting our son on Wednesday or on Friday, whatever it is, and so I would prefer that as long as you only want to be friends, that we have these discussions when I come and pick up little Johnny. And that's the way you need to do it. Because otherwise she's just going to keep jerking around, kind of keep you on the back burner while she's exploring these other guys. He says, I just replied, Kay, talk to you later. An hour passed, and she asked if she wanted her to buy me a kid's toilet or if I just wanted to share the one that they had. See, part of it is she's kind of testing your strength. It's like sometimes you act strong and you stand up for what you want, and other times you don't. And so, like in this particular case, you had reiterated to her what you want, and then what happens? She moves right back into her feminine and starts coming up with reasons to contact you. But the problem is you're not doing it consistently. You're not consistently being in your masculine. And again, masculine energy is sure of itself. Feminine energy is unsure of itself. He says, I said that she can buy me one, or we can share till Monday when I buy him one on my own. She didn't respond, so I just said, I'll buy my own Monday and think so. Well, I wouldn't have reached out to her again. When you responded that way and she didn't respond back, you got to wait. That's one of the biggest mistakes that a guy makes, is that you say something and you got to wait for the woman to get back to you. Sending 2 or 3 texts or leaving 2 or 3 messages, it just expresses weakness, being unsure of yourself, and all that will cause is you to get more flaky behavior. He says, my question is this. She doesn't want to date, but she will not let go. She's always staying in contact one way or another, but she says she's not seeing someone else. She likes and comments on my Facebook and even tried to be friends on Facebook with this new girl I've been seeing. She's even told me that she will hang out, but just as friends, and that's when I told her I don't want to be friends. It's been 3 months since we split, but I have this feeling we will reconcile one day. Well, the key is you got to consistently be a man. You got to consistently act consistent with her. When you say that you're not interested in being friends, you can't go back and then start acting like the emotional tampon on the phone, because then you're just acting like the gay male girlfriend at that point. And so if just let her know that if it's an emergency, obviously about your son, go ahead and call me. But other than that, I really don't want to talk. There's no point. I want to get over you. I want to be able to find someone new. I'm dating someone, and I just want to have a good time and explore things, because I deserve to have somebody that loves me and appreciates me for me, and you're kind of all over the ice, and I told you I'm over it. But if you change your mind, you know I love you, you know I want to see you, you know I want to work things out. But if you're not going to make the effort, then you need to leave me alone. You need to respect my wishes. And 100% of the time, when she tries to take you back to friend zone, you have to reiterate that purpose to her. Because if you wilt, she'll keep you in friend zone, and all you'll do is frustrate the hell out of yourself. So let's get into the third email. This guy says, hey Corey, thanks for all of your advice on relationships and confidence building. Here's a background. I came out of a relationship of 12 years, including 5 years that I was married. The marriage didn't work out, and I haven't dated many girls since. I am now 31 and starting applying what you teach, and met an attractive 40-year-old woman at a local event. I followed your advice and got the first date. I hugged her at the end. Come on, man. If you've been following my advice, going for a hug, that's like, acting total gay male girlfriend. That expresses that you don't have the confidence to go for the kiss. If you go out on a date and you spend money buying a girl a drink or going to dinner or whatever it happens to be, you need to at least try to kiss her at the very end of the date, unless you see signals beforehand, her flipping her hair, touching your arm, looking at your lips, those kinds of things. Then you go and you kiss her earlier. But at the very end, when you're dropping her off or you're walking her to her car, go for the kiss. If she won't kiss you back, then you know it's an absolute waste of your time to ever talk to this girl or go out with her again, because she's not interested in you romantically. Again, that's masculine energy going for it, going for what you want. There was no other physical contact, I know. Bad. And he was like, yeah, giving her a hug, it just communicates you were either too weak and unsure of yourself, or maybe you were gay. He says, man, it was hard. She was asking questions, and I found it challenging to apply your advice. Well, that tells me that you haven't practiced very much, and that's why it's hard, because this is something new to you. He says, asking questions is hard when you have little practice. I do know I put my foot in my mouth many times. It's okay. That's how you learn, is by fucking up and making mistakes. Obviously, and listening to these scenarios from other guys and girls that are going through the same things that you are. She works 38 hours per week and has 2 older kids who she takes care of full time, and a crazy schedule of family activities during the week and weekend. I called to set a second date. She agreed. I made definite plans to set a date, drinks, and I guess appletinis, he says. And I said I could pick you up on Saturday at 7 p.m. Or he says, can I pick you up at Saturday? Well, he asked a question that way. Well, if you just gave her a hug and there was no real physical contact, it's like you don't even know if this girl really likes you or not, because you didn't make a physical move. Now you're having to go out on a second date and try to find out. She paused and said, I am busy due to family plans, and suggested we walk the dogs in the park the next day. Then I would have said, you know what? Well, why don't we you got to do the takeaway at that point. The proper response is, well, I'm busy, the next day, whatever the day it is. Like, she wants to get together during the day. Well, that's like friends date, hanging out during the day, walking the dogs. You want to keep it in the evening. That's why you make dates in the evening that ultimately can lead to you having sex at her place or your place. But here the thing is, you're not being masculine and standing up for what you want. And she says, hey, well, she agrees to have a date with you in the evening to meet up for some drinks again. And then she says, oh, well, I'm busy? I mean, think about that. She's jerking you around and you're just going, okay, and you're going along with it. You're not acting masculine, dude. And that's why you're getting jerked around. And so when she said, how about we walk the dogs in the park the next day, I would have said, no, I'd really like to get together for drinks, so if you're not down with that, then let's just do it some other time. And then zip your mouth and don't say anything. Wait to hear what she says, because she'll do one of two things. She'll either back up, go, no, it's okay. Here's my address, blah, blah, blah. Or here we can meet at such and such place, whatever happens to be. Or she'll say, okay, when you tell her we'll just do it another time. And if she just says, okay, then just say, great, call me later. And then walk and never look back. If she likes you, or a few days later, when she realizes that you've walked away, showing her through your actions that you're not going to invest any more energy into this, because she's not making any effort. She's holding back. She's trying to control the plans because you've acted weak. He says, I was a little taken aback as this is not my preferred date. I played it cool and said, sounds great. Bad way to go. You're acting like a woman. You just submitted to her will. So now she's in her masculine and you're in your feminine. And that's why you're stuck in friend zone. And he says, we'll see you Sunday at 12:30 p.m. So it's an afternoon date, kind of like walking the dogs. So she's got her dogs there as like her blockers, as her cock blockers, if you will. So nothing physical can happen. He says, I don't think her interest is that high, maybe 51%. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's maybe a 5, if that. But the point being is that the reason why is that this is what happens. When it's real low, when on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 5, that's why she tries to change the plans to see if you'll go along with it. And because you're just happy to see her and you're not willing to stand up for yourself, you're in essence not acting like a man and withdrawing the offer. So he says, I am overanalyzing this, and am I overanalyzing this, and should I respect her schedule and just roll with setting dates? No, you should stand up for what you want. Again, the process of seduction is to isolate a woman to get closer and closer to her until you ultimately end up inside of her. And when she gives you these BS excuses, like she admitted, yeah, let's have plans, and then when you're like, hey, I'll pick you up, you're just like, no, let's go to the park and walk our dogs together. Fuck that noise. Just say, no, I'm not into that. I'd rather meet you out and have some drinks. But if you're not up for that, then let's just do it another time. And you got to pause. You have to wait for her to respond. She'll either back up and agree to go along with that, or she'll just go, okay, yeah, we'll do it some other time. If she just says, yeah, we'll do it some other time, then you go, great. give me a call when your schedule's a little more flexible and you want to do something in the evening, and we'll meet up for drinks and we'll plan it then. And then I wouldn't do anything. I'd walk and never look back. I wouldn't call her again. I wouldn't do jack shit. But see, the problem is you're making mistakes here because I can tell you haven't read the book well enough to be prepared for this. And these are specific examples that I go over in the book. And you're making rookie mistakes here, Chief, because you don't know the material that well. He says, should I say no and let me know when you have a free evening and give me a call? He says, it feels like a dick thing to say. What I would do, quite frankly, is just cancel on her. Just say, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel. I can't make it. Something came up. But how about we meet up later next week for some drinks? What night are you free? And send that to her. That's what I would do. That's the best way to back up. And she'll probably say something like, oh, I don't know, I got to check my schedule. And then just go, great, check your schedule. And when you get figured out, get back to me. We'll plan something then. And then that's it. You got to wait for her to get back to you. And if she gets back to you, then you'll probably be able to make the date in the evening because she's reaching out to you. You're regaining your power in that case. But I would definitely cancel this dog walking bullshit date because you ain't going to get nothing except dog stink on you and go home and jerk yourself off. It's a bad way to go, dude. So that's what I would do if I were you. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone coaching session or Skype session or email coaching. And you can do either of those three options by going to my website, clicking the products tab on any page on my website, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.